Ladies and gentlemen, I bear glad tidings, for it is not only TH000, the legendary Chinese human player and a random player extraordinaire that has returned to active play, but Infi as well, aka Iffy. So TH on the left as Egg and Iffy as Infi on the right. Infi playing as undead, he pretty much switched away from human, he doesn't think human is strong anymore. Both of them have definitely had their share of complaining that human has received the ugly end of the nerf stick for quite some time now. And it is true that human hasn't been winning as much. And perhaps this is why human players quit the game, because the race is too easily abused at the higher levels. But here we see TH playing as human against Infi. Now these two guys, they were thick as thieves. I always saw them hanging around at Chinese events. Two very skinny guys. By now TH actually has he's gained a little bit of weight. They were so skinny. And it looked like all of their life force was being pumped into Warcraft 3. Very talented players. Two human players, but each with a different style. TH was very aggressive and micro heavy. And Infi was very methodical and brutally effective with his strategy choices. He would make as many towers as he needs to, and he was also known for this as well. Now, on Saturday, as I paused this video just a bit to let you guys know about something exciting that's happening, this is my stream schedule for the week, and I filled it in until about Friday, and you can find this stream schedule these days on my Twitch. But on Saturday, there's going to be a show match at 10:30 a.m. CEST. So you can find out what that is in your own time zone. And I'm going to be streaming that on YouTube. This is a Stars War anniversary show match because 20 years ago, Zax invited myself and 15 other players who were from Korea and China to a 16-player invitational in Xi'an, China. And we had our first match against Sky at that time. When I say we, I mean I. And a lot of players met for the first time and played against each other. Since then, he's held multiple Stars War tournaments. And so that's going to be a really cool event. I'm playing a show match. I'm not physically in China for this, but many of the other players are. And they're also going to play a proper competitive tournament as well. I'll be waking up super early for this because, you know, time zones. I'll do the show match. It's going to be like a 3-on-3. I don't know with who or against who, but it's all going to be like legends of the game. So I think in anticipation, maybe for the show match or more likely for the tournament that follows afterwards, both TH and Infi are putting themselves into more active practicing shape once again. So that's really cool. And I hope it's going to give a nice boost in popularity to Warcraft 3 the game in China and, you know, perhaps worldwide. Either way, it's a nice fan service event and I'm looking forward to it. So, the peasants are finishing off the trolls as we see the new meta of Lich, Undead, fast expansion with a quick Nerubian. The peasants were trying to finish these two creeps, but he's attacking. That was not the best creeping. He left 5 peasants to finish a troll that probably has like 1 armor or something, and it kept getting healed from the other troll. So it's in fact TH that was trolling here, and Infi comes in. And surely they must both have a bit of a laugh here at how far they've fallen in their efficiency of creeping. Because before, it was freaking pristine, man. It was pristine. TH would be in your base with an Archmage level 3, rushing your burrows by doing 2 camps very quickly and then creeping the other 2 with just Militia. And then he gets to your base and he has 3 Water Elementals level 2. And then you just die. He was super efficient with it, so... still has to regain a bit of shape, but I was lucky enough to find this replay of that process. This looks so over to me. This looks so over. He's losing so many peasants. This is lovely, quite unusual, quite unprecedented ghoul harass. Sending ghouls into worker lines like this, like what Infi is doing, is really rare nowadays. Happy generally doesn't mess with it. Happy generally goes more for the direct confrontation. He would have cancelled the expansion as well. But then probably he would have gone back and fought the Archmage. And as it stands, it's a bit of a base trade. A couple of extra peasant kills from that ghoul attack. But in exchange, he loses his gold mine and he loses the Nerubian tower as well. Now, a Ziggurat with Nerubian upgrade can technically slow up to 5 units at the same time. But it requires 1 micro attack, 1 micro move every 0.9 seconds or something. So it's very, very micro intensive. He could have been trying to mitigate damage from all those footies and the water elemental, but swap. But it's pretty micro intensive, and he wasn't going to keep it alive anyway, so it doesn't really matter if it dies quicker or slower. After all, Infi is already teching. He has given up on the idea of fast expanding. It was an option that allowed him to have a window of harassment inside TH's base, and has now noticed that there is a new expo attempt by TH. TH, who needs 2 more ghouls to level up to 3, which would be a huge buff for the Archmage. The Archmage has boost of speed, which means he's going to be able to chase down ghouls that try to walk away with much greater efficacy than normal. It's more efficient, can get more hits in, can get back to your expo quicker. And I believe I've seen a very quick arcane tower, and is now finishing his town hall. He's making sure to split his peasants to give at maximum Nova on about 2 or 3 peasants at the same time. So you see them all scrambling around the nest like it's an ant nest. And they're trying to save the eggs to go back to the inner chamber, walking around frantically this way and that on hidden pheromones. But it's actually TH controlling them, and they're not ants, but they're peasants. So TH, pretty low on lumber. He's going to be making peasants 2 at a time from 2 different town halls. And then he'll try to get his 210 lumber as quickly as possible so that he can tech up. He wants to rush. Oh, the screen isn't centered. Yes. He wants to rush. Thanks. He wants to rush as quickly as possible towards... Oh, wait, I see. I'm supposed to be on this. Alright, cool. There we go. Maybe we can fix this in post-production. TH wants to rush as quickly as possible to tier 3. So that he can get potentially knights out. Knights and breakers, knights flying machines, something like that. I don't think it's gonna be Riflecaster. Nova's a little bit too good against that. It might be Griffin Riders. Honestly, I don't know how human would play this against Undead. Against Lich first? I haven't seen enough games of this matchup to know how it's going to be playing out. From Infi's side, it can either be Ghoul Destroyer, Ghoul Caster Destroyer, like Banshees for instance, or it could be a big Destroyer bust, or it could be a switch to Fiends, so Fiend Statue or Fiend Statue Destroyer. The second hero probably going to be Death Knight. You can try to play Lich Dreadlord. I got dirty with Lich Dreadlord sometimes when I was doing my Undead practice a couple of years ago. And I got pretty good result with like Lich Dreadlord. But it is so strange and risky because you'll never have an Unholy Aura. You'll never have Coil. You specialize in splash damage. And it pretty much worked on the allowance of the opponent. In the sense that they did not... They played into it, let's say. They got like small HP units. They got abused by Nova, Carrion Swarm. You're going to be pretty unhappy if you have Lich Dreadlord and the opponent masses like... instead of massing Griffins or Rifles, which would get countered by that, they go like Knights or they go like Breakers or something. I don't know. Breakers, probably not that good against ghouls, but... I think Lich Dreadlord could actually work, now that I think about it. The hardest part actually might not be whether you can counter any of the human units. It's probably that it sucks in direct hero versus hero combat. So you'd be happy against units initially. And then when the human gets like Archmage 4, Mountain King 3, Paladin 3, you would be dead. You cannot win with Nova Carrion Swarm, since Coil is the much better PvP ability. So for TH, he can try to go for Knight Flying. Maybe tier 2 Workshop to stop some kind of Destroyer bust, which it very well could be. We see all ghouls. One of the cool things about RTS, right? You see the enemy units, you know what they cast. You know ghouls cost only gold, no lumber. So that you know that all the lumber that they have is going to go to something else. It's one thing to see loads of fiends with upgrades, and then to wonder what they have behind this. But you know they have lots of fiends with upgrades, so you know there cannot possibly be double boneyard coming up, right? Because fiends upgrades cost a lot. But then you take mass ghouls, and you're like, okay, could be anything basically, because they haven't spent a single point of lumber on any of this. So most likely, normally, if I saw that many ghouls and nothing else, I'd say double slaughterhouse destroyers. Now, if you see ghoul fiend statue, then you know it's one slaughterhouse max. And I think it is in fact just one slaughterhouse, because he wants to have a third hero. Dark Ranger gets skeletons from here. He has Black Arrow. He can get 5 dark minions. He has Orb of Corruption. Space for 2 destroyers. So that's it then. It's going to be a double destroyer bust attempt. So the question will be, does Infi have enough towers? Or does he not? Either he does or he doesn't. If Infi manages to kill all the towers and all the peasants at the expansion, generally these good human players, they're so resilient, they can still form some kind of defense with what little units they can scramble together, and then they can start mining again. Usually they don't die outright. The game goes on. This water elemental was purely a sacrificial piece. He knew it's gonna die, he knew it's gonna give XP, he still wanted to buy time, which means that he has towers coming up as we speak, which we now see to be true. Footies are all cannon fodder right now. It's hard for TH to run below his town hall and escape. He still has 5 full HP footies. Is that a rifleman coming? Okay. So we get like one rifleman to kind of tide him through. But Flying Machine is his chosen counter to the destroyers. He just finished Flak Cannon. And he's now making flyings. Still at 50 population. Mountain King is maybe gonna get surrounded and killed. There's no Staff of Sanctuary. So Mountain King goes down. No upgrades on units. Not important for either one of them. Trying to crank out another workshop. They take bonus damage before they finish, so that's gonna be a cancel by Infi. He has a cannon tower, guys. That's why it took so long to make. Wow. Hey. It's pretty cool. Cannon tower among the 3 human towers, 4 if you count Scout Tower as well, is the only one that has fortified defenses, which makes it the strongest against all forms of attack except Meatwagon from Undead. So it's worse against Meatwagon, but it's better against everything else, except it can't attack air. So it can't deal with destroyers, gargoyles, or frostworms. But I think it just so happens the destroyer needs about 1 million hits on the cannon tower. So that cannon tower is still going to be an annoyance. It's weaker on fast-moving units like ghouls. And it's not that good against heroes, because siege damage does greatly reduce damage on heroes. But still, it exists, you know? It's there. And because it exists, generally you want to deal with it. You're going to have to keep dodging it. It does do some splash against ghouls. It can attack statues that stand still, so it's annoying. So it's kind of a fun, interesting production here by TH. And he's still greeding on 50 population. When you look at both of these players, you realize how different they are stylistically from Happy. In all of the games, Happy is the kind of guy that stays on 50 population less than pretty much anyone else that I know. And the only reason that's even possible or viable, and it's more than viable, he's one of the best, right? Maybe the best. The only reason that's even viable for him to do so is because everything else he does is so clean. His creep routes are the freshest. He hangs out with the coolest dudes. His timing attacks are aggressive. His tech routes are on point. Right? Everything else works so that when he pushes from 50 to 54, or even from... I've seen him push from 50 to 52. Like a single unit. He's losing money on a single unit. he will attack very soon after, and it's gonna be dangerous. Now both players have decided to go over 50, but I would say about half a minute to a minute later than maybe Happy would have done so in their position. Grubby, why is it so hard to admit? He's definitely the best. It's not hard to admit it. It's easy to claim anything, right? You can just claim anything on the internet and say it's definitely true, but it doesn't make it true per se. I'm leaving it open because it may not be definitively true. I think the cleanest thing you can say is who's the best of a race. Because the balance may not be perfect, and I'm not claiming it is or it isn't, but I'm uneager to say Lin is the best in the world, Moon is the best in the world, or Happy is the best in the world. But what I can say is they're the best of their race. So, TH is getting a lot of creeping in. Generally, I find that if Human Fast expanded and made it to tier 3 afterwards without dying, if they can get their Paladin to level 3, the game is over. It's a bit too simple, of course, but that was my metric. Can't let Paladin creep like this and get to level 3. And to be honest, he had killed so many peasants early game, I thought Infi was in such a good spot. But now, with him making tanks to buy time and keep undead at home while he's taking lots of valuable creep camps, I feel like TH has complete control of the game. I cannot see how he could possibly lose this. And in fact, I'm gonna go ahead and say he won't. I think this is a TH victory. Who's the best human player? I think Sok. But it could be TH. If he tried. Don't you think? Fortitude is also very good, but I hold Sok in higher regard. No, not Sok. Sok. Paladin level 2.7. Siege tanks continue to try to buy time. Those tanks that he had, right? They didn't kill any buildings and they gave a bit of XP. But they bought time for blacksmith upgrades, which human needs a lot of. Oh, nice save. Very nice save. That's Zeppelin coming in clutch. And they also gave TH both of the Magnetar Reaver camps. Top left and bottom right against undead. This is illegal. This is so illegal. Actually, hold on a second here. It is illegal. We have heard stories of you trying to take the double Magnetar Reaver. And we are going to stop you, says Infi. He comes in here. Starts working away on the knights. Lich DR do a lot of range damage. There is only one Staff of Sanctuary on TH, and I think he's already used it. So that the knight could definitely die, but Infi is satisfied to chase it with a small army. With 3 ghouls and the destroyer, which all die. But at the very least, Infi gets the Magnetar Reaver himself. And he gets the +5 intelligence and strength item on Arthas. Or Baron Rivendare. Lich is now 5. Very scary to get Nova level 3. And if Lich ever were to reach level 6 this game, it would give him Death and Decay, which is a 4% HP removal that ignores armor, that works on buildings and units per second for, I believe, 40 seconds or so. So pretty much, Death and Decay will kill any unit in the game. It could kill a level 15 dragon, or it could kill a castle with level 3 masonry. And then some. It can also kill whatever gets repaired or healed up to a certain point. So Lich 6 is very, very strong. It does, of course, get interrupted by Bolt. So you gotta zone against him, like silence him or so. Paladin and Rifle are stuck. He's currently cutting trees, of which he would need to cut like 7 to get out. Maybe he should try the other side. Paladin is level 3, the magical number that I believe is normally win condition for victory. At least against Orc. Banshees are a really valuable addition. Though he lost it instantly to the cannon tower. Let's go. Cannon tower value, bonus damage on Banshees. Banshees are very good because they give anti-magic shell to heroes and units, which will block Holy Light and Stormbolt and Clap damage. And Griffins, if there are any. And I think it still works that way. Anti-magic shell changes the armor type of any unit to neutral. And if that's confusing to you, let me explain. A ghoul takes double damage from Griffins because he's heavy armor against magic. Once you anti-magic shell him, the game stops looking at his armor type and instead looks at the magic shell, which has no armor type and simply takes 100% from all magic. Which means that when the destroyer attacks a ghoul, or a griffin attacks a ghoul with AMS, and it does 80 damage, instead of doing 160, it just does 80, removes 80 of the shield, and when it finally breaks through the shield, then it starts seeing the ghoul as a ghoul again. So, more than blocking griffin damage, what's even better is that ghouls stop... Oh, they still take a lot of damage from griffins, but they stop being an absolute liability. So anyway, Banshee's pretty good. He hasn't used much here. He did use them for Curse, which is pretty cool, of course. And this was a pretty solid fight for Infi. Killed a bunch of units, including a mortar team. And he's also managed to stop the tower expansion here from TH. TH would have loved to squat there and keep the base. But now he's starting to lose peasants, which is one of the weaknesses of human. In fact, there's two issues. Humans, peasants are quite vulnerable, even when you have lots of towers. As you see, those towers are pretty much not a threat on Fiends and Lich. The second problem for the human is, because they're always the first to fast expand, they also need to be the first to break the stalemate of a 2 versus 2 base. Because their gold mine is going to have less money left in it than the enemy's gold mine. So they're under pressure to take a third base before their opponent. Basically, the curse of the luxury of fast expand is that you must use it in the first 23 minutes of the game, 24 minutes, to also win the game. Once you get to 25 minute plus, on Northern Isles, you'll notice that your main and your expo suddenly run out of gold at the same time. Suddenly no more money, like Logan Paul, Crypto, Rug Pull. And now with the siege engines, he's looking to equalize and preordain that sad state of affairs. And he's attacking the Haunted Gold Mine with 3 tanks with insane upgrades, 2-2. It's not going to be able to be out-repaired. Infi does what he can to attack, but he's not sure what. Should he go for the siege engines? Should he go for the knights? And it's just a solid wall of human chunkiness that he cannot cannibalize his way through. An abomination comes in. He too is an appreciator of an abomination rush. But he hasn't gone full opera yet. Disease for you, and disease for everyone. Which I always think is nice and generous. There we go. The abomination is farting now. And his foul miasma spreads around, even as he gets taken down, for a 75-second cuffing trip. A cuffing spell for every unit that came into unfortunate contact with him. And they're going to take 2 damage per second. You may not notice it now, but it's only a matter of time until they turn into the undeadable. That knight goes down. There were 2 staffs of Sanctuary, both were used, so that knight could get taken down. He's attacking the other knight now. Not wishing to get fancy with micro, just landing a coil on Nova. The knight actually gets away with 1 more Holy Light. Nice job, sticking around with the paladin there. Those crypto zoo eggs will hatch one day. Never lose hope, so Dankerju. Ironically, because Infi harassed the peasants of the expansion of TH, that gold mine is going to last a bit longer than usual, because I feel like it might have been empty already otherwise. Yeah, there we go, 600 gold. He definitely slowed down TH's greed. And this now allows TH to have some money for a rainy day. In anticipation of precipitation, he's able to still mine a bit, 600 gold. enough to put up another base, for sure. And with that siege engine loss, he's going to make sure that he's on no upkeep and able to get all of it. Silence. There could be a silence. There could be a silence. De-shield before it lands, because no silence came. Have I heard about the new Age of Empires 4 expansion? What? No. They're gonna have an expansion? I'll check it out. Back to AoE 4 Pro Gamer. You mean like bigger than the two new races? The Turks and the Mayans? Malians? Sorry, Mayans and Malians are pretty close phonetically. But it's actually a tribe in Africa versus a tribe in South America, so not that close. They're adding Protoss. Wow, that's sick. Protoss, eh? Yeah, Ottomans. AoE 4 was fun while it lasted. It's still fun for some people. Probably, Jelly. I'll publish my schedule here. Scroll down on my Twitch page. And then you can see my schedule. I'll keep this up to date best I can from now on. Look, if you go to my Twitch page and you look here on the calendar, you see what my plans are every day. Gonna do a YouTube stream here. Streaming today Warcraft, Dota, and then Hearthstone Battlegrounds. And I'll slot in Baldur's Gate here somewhere as well, yeah. Paladin almost got taken down. Core Mongol towering for 4 months killed Grubby's AoE 4 spirit. You're not wrong, actually. Oh my god, the Lich Surround! Oh, he has Anchor of Reincarnation! So he's gonna come back. But TH is keeping the surround. And Infi puts units inside the surround. It was big enough to keep the surround on the Lich. But it was like the surround was good enough to keep the Lich surrounded, but there were small little cracks in the armor of the surround that allowed Infi to get the acolytes inside the circle and to create a displacement so that the Lich could not form out of the urns of the father's ashes. He could not form and revive in that spot so that he spawned outside the circle. I just want to show it one more time. That was so sick. Look, Lich dies. TH reforms the surround. He's like, ghouls, acolytes, get in there, block! Lich spawns outside. So nice. And then he gets coiled in the corner. So, with Infi still mining and 2 knights dying and the Lich coming back, is this the end? Is this where Infi beats his old friend, TH? Lich is level 6. He did not pick Death and Decay. Smash. I'm smashing now. Yo, if those 2 tanks were attacking the gold mine during all that, maybe they could have taken down the mine. Dang, 1 coil heals so much. Yeah, that's why they came up with the new innovation of the Orb of Fire that actually reduces the amount of healing. But Archmage needs to apply it. It's like a 3-second debuff where someone receives less healing. That's a very clean double staff. And there are no statues right now, which means less mana. But Dark Ritual level 3... Oh, there is 1 statue. Dark Ritual level 3 means there's a lot of mana for Nova anyway. He kills a bunch of ghouls. He's got 3 staffs now. Very little mana right now on Mountain King Paladin. You know, Brilliance Aura used to give a lot more mana than it does now. I think a very justified nerf. But that effect is felt by human players. The fact that Mountain King still doesn't have enough mana for Stormbolt, despite spending 5 seconds next to Archmage, shows the sad state of the game for human. Who do you even focus? The DK with 1000 life and Talisman of Evasion? The Lich with 800-900 life and the ability to get coiled? Or the Dark Ranger with a high armor class and the least dangerous of the bunch? How strong is Pala Ulti? Well, not strong at all anymore. First of all, if you have enough mana to cast Resurrection to heal up to 6 units, let's say even if it's only 3 units, you have not been holy lighting properly. Why would you let them die first when you could first save them? And secondly, when do you ever lose 6 nights in a row? You've still given hella XP when that happens. So, although it's good in theory, it has very, very small niche case application. I think TH doesn't have enough mana anymore to win this. And the fact that he's playing against active mining, I don't see it. He's gonna try to scrounge enough mana for Stormbolt, which I think he will have soon. Maybe, I think now he has 75 or 74. So he's gonna try to nuke one of the heroes. See, Coil does less, but it still does too much. And now with Nerubian, the micro advantage is entirely on Infi's side. He's just getting kited and surrounded with units. Mounted King, AFK slowed. Paladin's D-shield soon about to run out. Infi's chasing the Paladin. And he gets it. That's gotta be it. GG. Looking forward to seeing Infi and TH play with the others this Saturday and Sunday for the Stars War anniversary event. And maybe I'll play with or against one or multiple of them in the 3-on-3 show match. I'll see you then with the YouTube stream. Hope you enjoyed this game. And I'll see you next time. It's up to the grub. See you next.